Aloha, Star Nations. This is Unity Grace reporting in from Cancun. I have not reported in since our big live stream with Todd Medina on the new moon of almost 2 weeks ago now, because tomorrow is the full moon. And so it's time for an amazing update because it is a super exciting time. And we've got all of nature joining us. You can hear the beautiful birds here. I am at the beautiful Grand Villas in Cancun, where we just, the birds just started chirping so loud. So funny. I'm really excited to report in. This is an amazing report to share. Lots to share. So on the first of, or on the new moon, which was, like I say, 2 weeks ago, I think it was the 14th of June or something, we did an amazing live stream with Todd Medina from Victoria, British Columbia, and talked about the grid lines activating and the rise of the feminine Christ in our consciousness. And so I talked a lot about the grid lines and the grid lines of Vancouver Island and so on, but I'm going to weave some cool stuff together, so let's jump in. Okay, here's where the guidance wants to begin. First of all, what an amazing time of celebration we're at. So in this week-long retreat that we just finished with Joe Dispenza, his newest book is called Becoming Supernatural. If you haven't heard of Joe Dispenza, check out his book, because he has an amazing capacity to combine science with what we might call the spiritual, or let's call it the supernatural, because that's the moment we're at, is activating our supernatural capacities and reclaiming our birthright as interdimensional beings to move in and out of time and space at will, as sovereign beings of multiverse, with teeming life, abundantly teeming all around us that we can't see with the limited spectrum of our current eyes that see only a very limited spectrum of light. But for many of us, we've been aware for a very long time that we're surrounded by benevolent life, and we're moving into times and realms where we can begin to interact with those life forms in a very conscious and sensory way. And as I've said before, our bodies are like a movie theater, a walking movie theater. And the movie house is currently closed to the public because it's undergoing major renovation within. And we're getting renovated up to surround sound, high def, and all those things. And there's a tremendous transformation going on with the first eye. There's a tremendous transformation actually going on in the blood. We're turning into light. And some of the people that I have worked with for many years on the Rochelle grids, which are the rose lines of the earth, have been having their blood tested by an amazing naturopath for many years. And we have seen tremendous anomalies in the blood of the group that has been doing this work on the Rochelle grids. And it started in 2011, showing up in the blood, where red blood cells developed these little blue and little red stars, one little red star, one little blue star on some of the blood cells. And then we observed through the videotape that the naturopath made, the red and blue cells, the red and the stars, the cells with the red and blue stars bursting into orbs of light. And then those little orbs of light were seeking each other out in the bloodstream, and it was amazing to witness. And it was absolute confirmation and feedback of what we know, that the DNA is designed to open to light. And so through the years, when we watched the video originally, it was almost too bright to look at the blood. And so that's pretty cool. So I have been speaking with that beautiful part of the family, galactic interdimensional family. And a couple of years ago, the next upgrade in the blood that was seen was actually the Templar cross showing up in the blood cells. And that's pretty cool, because what does the Templar cross represent but the fourth coordinate? And if you go to the work of Shane Shima on Facebook. He is a galactic, cosmic, celestial being who has a profound interpretation of the stars. And he signs his posts the 4th coordinate. And, oops, we've got a little bit dark on the screen here. Come on, universe. Okay. So you can go check out Shane Shima's work, because the 4th coordinate is about the access to the 4th dimension and beyond. Okay, hang on. Let me get some more light there. Why did it go dark? And by the way, this is my super cool room at the hotel where we've been doing this week-long retreat with Joe. And there's this amazing lagoon out behind me with beautiful purple water lilies and turtles and mama turtles and baby turtles, which is amazing. They're swimming together and they come up to visit on the deck all the time, along with all the amazing fish. And it's just so exciting how nature is really interfacing with us in a really beautiful way right now. So I wish this screen didn't get so dark, but maybe it just looks like it to me. Okay. Yeah, it's amazing what's happening with wildlife as a confirmation for the transformation that we're in. So, okay, I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but just listening to source guidance and back to the bloodstream. Okay, so the Templar cross started showing up in the blood of one of the people in our group about, I would say 2 or 3 years ago. And then I'm just going to try and get the screen brighter. Oh my gosh, what happened? Now I'm looking at this is really funny. Come back. Okay, so see, I just need a crew to do all this technology stuff. Anyways, I'm going to be focused. The Templar cross started to show up in the blood of one of the people in our crew, and then I spoke to part of the crew recently, and we got more blood work samples of some of the members of the crew. And there are more anomalies showing up in the blood now, many orbs of light in the blood, all kinds of transformation in the blood cells, as well as these cube-like structures that have been showing up. And the cube-like structures actually look like crystals in the blood. So I will investigate if I can share more of that publicly. And if I can, I will make some posts to bring some of this work, the science, into the field, because it's amazing biofeedback for all of us to validate all this incredible inner alchemy that we're currently going through. And you know, once we see that science, it helps, it's confirmation for us to keep going and keep believing and know, really stay in that knowing. So I'll talk a little bit about our interdimensional week with Dr. Joe and the family here in Cancun, the Mayan Riviera, or the land of the Maya. So there's no accident that the Maya spend so much time in these precious areas of limestone, and the beaches here, which are very crystalline, because this is a very interdimensional place. And so of course that's why you know, in the grids, this area was sought after by those who had a lot of power and money and understood the power of the grids. So that's how all of this development has happened here. But what this area is really about is interdimensionality. And so Source had me go do some really beautiful grid work at Tulum with sacred water, and to really honor taking this aspect of the grid up into the fields of light, so that these interdimensional gateways that are available here are available to all of life for the true purpose of humanity's ascension. This week at the Joe Dispenza event, we witnessed a lot of miracles. We witnessed people who had very severe Parkinson's really overcome many of the symptoms of their Parkinson's in one healing meditation. We witnessed people who had polio from the time they were a child and had not run since they were 3 years old, running all over the beach. we witnessed people put down their crutches. We witnessed, I witnessed something myself. My eyesight for the last couple of years has been not that great, and especially at nighttime. And so I just considered it an aspect of ascension. And I decided that my physical eyes were giving way to my first eye to develop a little bit better. And so we do group healings while we're here, where we just really activate the field of the heart. And then we work in groups of 8 with individuals to just use our hands and the energy from our hands and our heart to direct energy towards people, to raise the vibration of matter beyond the speed of light, where the disharmony is existing, and into the field of the quantum. And so miraculously for me, just participating as one of the, what we call healers or healies, just participating as a healer, the next day I noticed that my eyes are like divinely, my eyesight is divinely perfect again. So that was pretty cool. As my first eye continues to develop greater and greater incredible skills and gifts. So these are things that a lot of us are noticing on the planet. Trust it, believe it. A lot of people are having really interdimensional experiences now with interdimensional beings that they're beginning to see with their eyes. Trust it, believe it, know it's real. We are moving towards an eclipse on the 27th, 28th of July. It's a lunar eclipse. Shane Shima writes a lot of great stuff about it. The choir is chirping, is cheering in. It's going to be the longest eclipse of the century. And so my dear friend Peter Tung, I asked him if he could check to see when the sun is activating the 60th gene, because the guidance has had me speaking about the 60th gene for about 1.5 years since I was at Standing Rock, when the downloads came in for the final steps to unplug humanity's consciousness from 2-strand DNA to prepare us to reconnect to the triple helix of creation, which is connected to the design of creation itself, or the design of the universe. So we're moving through this process, which Richard Rudd of the Gene Keys, Gene Keys, Richard Rudd, write it down, get the book. Richard Rudd aptly describes in the book The Gene Keys. So we have 64 codons in our human DNA, 64 building blocks, and the 60th building block is directly connected to what you could call the lifting of the veils, or the opening of the veils. It has to do, even though Richard doesn't, I don't think he talks about it in the 60th gene, what the guidance has shown me is that it all has to do with the recalibration of our first eye, the upgrade of our first eye. So the lunar eclipse will be activating the access of the 60th and the 56th gene, which are programming partners. And of course, divine perfection. I really felt it strongly, which is why I asked Peter if he could look it up for me and find out this information. And we found out that the sun will be activating those genes at the time of the lunar eclipse. Shane has been reporting deeply about what this lunar eclipse is about, the 4th coordinate, and the opening of our capacity to move back into interdimensional realms. And so, as we all know, things are, quotation marks, moving quickly, even though nothing is really moving and there's no such thing as time. Yeah, so we're moving into the crystalline, we're moving into these greater capacities. So I'm just going to keep jumping around here, and I hope it all weaves some pieces for you. So the 60th gene talks about the Earthship Merkaba and the cracking of the vessel, and the Earth being the Merkaba, that we're on, the true mothership, and that she's about to turn into a sun, and we're going with her because we're all turning into the sons of God as well. It's the activation of the solar plexus, the lower ganglia of the heart, the largest electromagnetic field of the body. And the heart is where the twin flame physics occurs, the merging of the masculine and feminine energies, the kundalini of the serpents, the rainbow serpents on the earth, the masculine and feminine rainbow serpent lines have been rising on the earth plane, and many of us have been working with them for a long time to capture or activate our capacity to work with these planetary energies, which are more than planetary, they're really cosmic. The week while we were here at the Joe Dispenza retreat, the sun just so happened to be in the gene, the 15th gene, activating the 15th gene, which has everything to do with the Schumann resonance of the earth. So probably most people watching know what that is. The Schumann resonance is the heartbeat of the earth. It's been spiking, and it's measured scientifically, and when a heartbeat spikes, we know that something in the system is getting excited. So this whole week at the retreat, we have been in the land of the Maya with this serpent energy, having miraculous experiences of many interdimensional beings coming in when we've been doing the meditations. Every single time for myself we went into a meditation, instantly I would feel these massively tall white beings around me, and I would start, my clothes and my hair would start to blow in a ballroom, in a dark still ballroom, and it happened every time, and it was like blowing where I felt like I was on the beach with wind in my hair. It was so strong. So these beings are helping to prepare and upgrade us and so on. Another thing that happened for me, it was actually before I noticed that my eyesight came back, is when I went to bed one night, there was 3 strong flashes in my room, but they were really occurring in my head, but they were so strong. I actually opened my eyes to see if the flash was occurring in the room. And then the next day, my physical eyes is when I noticed my physical eyes were working better than they've been working in several years. So these are just a few of my own personal things I'm sharing and reporting, but I know lots of others are experiencing these things as well. So I want to jump into the star maps a little bit. I've been a carrier of the Star Knowledge bundles of the Star Knowledge family for since 2014, and they carry the codings to activate us into ascension, to take us into the tree of life, our birthright. The Gnostic wisdom is all around us, and it comes in many ways. It's spoken to us from indigenous. It's spoken to us from quantum physics. It's spoken to us from the Vedas. It's spoken to us from New Age spirituality. There's many, many paths that are sharing the same kind of knowledge, so there's not one right path to go home. For me, the star knowledge is a very profound and strong part of my path here. And when I woke up and realized that I was really holding the star knowledge within me, and that part of my work on the planet was to help share that star knowledge and help people to understand what star knowledge is. So I'm guided to share a little story of something that happened to me in 2014 when I did a 5-month walkabout on the grids, which was part of the unplugging of the patriarchy from our consciousness. And during that grid walkabout, I was in England, and I was at Camelot's Castle, and I was staying there and had synchronistically been aligned with a group of amazing beings, dowsers, and we had spent some time together working on the grids. And one particular night there was a star alignment, and the guidance told me to go out to the edge of the cliffs and receive the codes of Avalon. These birds are so amazing. That the codes of Avalon were coming in. So I went out and I did a ceremony on the edge of the cliffs, and when I was walking back to the castle, I had no light. My phone had gone dead, and it was dark out, really dark. And so I took a step, and a snake went across my path, and then I looked up at the stars and I said, "All right, stars, I'm counting on your light to lead me safely along these cliffs and back to the castle." And in that moment, when I was looking up at the constellations, many that I recognize and work with deeply, like the Pleiades, I had a moment where everything clicked for me, and I recognized the as within, so without. I totally understood that the star constellations and all the stars that I was seeing outside of me existed within me. And in an instant, I knew exactly which constellations made up which organs in my body, and so on and so on. I realized that the design that I was seeing outside of me in the stars was actually the design that was giving my physical body its structure and its light. And in that moment, I went, oh my God, now I know exactly what it means to be a full star being. And my Indigenous elders had been recognizing me since 2013 as a full star being on the planet. But this is when I really got my own personal understanding, my grokking within myself of what it meant. So we are all as above, so below, as within, so without. The star maps that we see outside of us are the star maps that reside within us. And one of the really amazing things that I learned when I spent time with some dear Hawaiian family who were working on the construction of the canoes, they took us for a tour of the canoes and showed us how the construction of the canoe is based on the structure of the stars. There's not a wasted part of the creation of the original canoes of the peoples that sailed around the earth. And so everything is geometrically designed on the canoes for navigation with the sun, the moon, and the stars. And so that was really a beautiful, fascinating discovery. And also a dear elder, a Maori elder, Forrest, shared with me how the fronts of the canoes of the Maori they had very intricate designs, and I'm going to add a picture to this post after of the front of the canoes so that you can see. But he explained to me that they were intricately designed to reflect the structure of the stars, the structure of the cosmos. And so when the sun shone through the bows of the boat in the daytime, they could navigate where the stars were and where they were based on how the sun came through the holes in the carvings on the front of the canoe. And at nighttime, the moonlight coming through the front of the canoe and the shadows that were cast on the water were also how the navigation was done. So back to the star maps that reside within us. So if you just close your eyes for a moment and picture the stars that you see outside of yourself at night, why do we like to gaze at the stars? Because as we gaze at the stars, we're getting a deeper understanding of ourselves. And this is what many of the ancient peoples did with cenotes and so on, was they would go and stare down into the water at nighttime, but staring down into the water was actually giving them a beautiful and perfect reflection of the stars and the star maps. And so it brought deep understanding to the self. It's really cool because this amazing little lagoon off my room here at the hotel is filled with fish and turtles and so on. And many people probably know the story of how the I Ching was discovered. It was by Lao Tzu, who was staring into the water and stared at the back of a turtle and suddenly understood the whole structure of the human design, the human creation, by staring at the back of the turtle. And this is why it's such an important time to be connecting with nature. Nature really has all the answers for us, moving away from technologies and going back to the true technologies of God, or creation, creator, the divine, which is nature itself, and spending quiet time in nature and reflecting. We have such profound aha moments because nature is showing us everything about our design and who we are. And so there's these beautiful turtles that just come visit me at this lagoon all the time, and it's really super cool. And so when we stare at the stars at night, why are we drawn to the stars? Because being drawn to the stars is really being drawn to ourselves and a deeper understanding of ourselves. And the star maps, going back to this piece about the star maps, another thing that I've really been inviting people to do, and my guidance has been inviting me to do, and I've been spending a lot of time doing it lately, is going within, going into deep meditation within, and just being in this tremendous love affair with the divine that gives me life, and the divine that resides within me and lives all around me. And in this love affair with the divine, it has activated such a neurochemistry of joy chemistry within me that I've been saying to friends, especially this past week at the Joe Dispenza retreat, that I feel like a pregnant woman without the pregnancy. And all these amazing pregnant chemicals are going through my being, and just it's causing greater and greater synchronicities and miracles in the world, because as Richard Rudd shows us through the 30-15 gene, the one that's connected to the activation of serotonin, when we choose love for all things in our life and just accept and receive everything that's coming to us instead of resisting what's coming to us, just accept and receive and love and go, this too I can love, this too I can love. Because everything really comes to us for a teaching and a lesson, whether we define it as good, bad, or neutral. And so as we activate this serotonin within us, and I talk about it a lot, but it activates a whole chain of neurochemistry in our being. And that neurochemistry begins to shift our physical vehicles. It actually causes the cells and atoms of our being to vibrate at a different frequency. And that frequency begins to allow us to interface with the quantum field in a very unique way. That, as Richard says in the 35th gene, allows us to live a life that most would equate with a world of fantasy. And so a lot of us have been having these amazing interdimensional experiences and things that people would equate with a world of fantasy here at this retreat this week, because we've been doing a lot of work to activate that serotonin through our meditations. We've been doing 6 a.m. walking meditations on the beach, where you have 500, 600, 700 people all out on the beach in the morning, hands on their chest, eyes closed, facing the ocean. It's an incredible sight. And then people start walking, doing open eye meditations, walking in the meditation, really holding the vibration of love, not only when our eyes are closed, but when we're in motion and activity during the day. And it's a great thing for all of us to be practicing, not to let our frequency drop the moment we come out of our meditation, but keep it high by practicing that open eye meditation. And Joe Dispenza has some really great meditations you can download from his website, and of course you can download from all kinds of other places or create your own. I'm just really dovetailing a lot of Joe's work these days, because it's really simple and easy, and he brings things into a very concise understanding for a lot of people to sync up a lot of different pieces, as does Richard Rudd. So the star maps within. So when we really start practicing the internal meditation and restoring our love affair with the divine within, closing our eyes and recognizing that when we feel love, it has nothing to do with the external. It has to do with us restoring our true original relationship, which is the relationship with that which gives life to life, that which is giving us life. And when we restore the relationship with the source that is giving us life, then we can truly begin to give effortlessly, because the giving is not from the place of the mind. The giving begins to flow through us. So we take the time for meditation every day now. There's never been a better time to be doing this, to be going within, because all the programming sequences are within us. And our higher self is taking us on our own journey through the star maps within. So here's the cool thing. Once again, if you close your eyes and you just picture those constellations outside of yourself, outside of ourselves, and recognize that they're actually inside of us, here's what we're doing when we're closing our eyes and going into meditation. We are learning to navigate the stars outside of us. We are learning to navigate the realms within us, and as we learn to navigate the realms within us, we begin to project a different reality outside of us, using these interdimensional inner dynamics within us of the star map. So another metaphor would be, it's like when you walk through the forest. The forest has many trails, and maybe some of those trails are well traveled, and maybe some of the trails are not well traveled. Maybe some are kind of overgrown, and so on. Our consciousness, as we're learning to decipher our way through our personalities and our egos, is learning to find its way through the forest of the mind, the forest of the personality, and the forest of our design. And as we learn to do that by closing our eyes and becoming still, it's just like if we got lost in the forest, we can get a better perspective when we just still ourselves and we calm ourselves down and we go, okay, breathe, come back to center. now we can make some conscious choices about how to navigate through the forest to find our way through. We can make conscious choices how to navigate our way through these final remnants of the dualistic personalities that we may still be navigating our way through, but it's happening so quickly now because we are transcending the double helix, the two-strand DNA, and we're getting prepared for the connection to the triple helix, which is going to open us to the interdimensional beings that we are meant to be. And it's going to, it is already opening us to vastly expansive experiences that perhaps can't be grasped by the mind. So, take my invitation is take the adventure, trust the unknown, and step into our fears over and over. And remember that there was never anything that came between us and Source called a middleman, or a dollar bill, or an economy, or a law, or a passport. Those are all things that were created by an external creation, or a reality that we all accepted, and that we are, as a vast majority, now choosing to transcend. And that's why I'm really, 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 really encouraging and inviting, please, everyone go within and meditate, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, because the more of us that do it, the more momentum there is for the 60th gene key, the cracking of the Urship Merkaba, the opening of the veils to occur. This lunar eclipse that's coming, I'm going to be talking about it more. I'm going to be encouraging us to meet in a field of unity consciousness, in a meditative field, to hold that field intact for the cracking of the Urship Merkaba, the activation of the 60th gene. It's a gene that's associated with Babaji. Babaji was seen throughout time and space. It was reported that he came into time and space throughout many times as a teacher of Yogananda and many others, and it was through the 60th gene. And so the 35th gene, which allows us teleportation, levitation, the shortcut through the genetics, and the 60th gene are kind of my two favorites to be talking about, because they open the gates for a whole lot of fun and play. It all has to do with understanding love, not love from the love that we've been taught what love looks like, but love from bringing our place back, or ourselves back to a place of stillness and neutrality within, so that the spirals or the energies that we have bound to the particles of matter that created the external reality that may still look as though it's here, those bonds, that energy bound around those particles is now getting very, very loose. So the walls are going to start coming in and out of form. There's Nassim Haramein, a dear friend on the path who has done a lot of sharing to help people open to the interdimensional, shares a story about working with technologies that he was creating, and having those technologies amp up, and walls going in and out of a form that could be seen with the eyes, you know, the Philadelphia experiment, all these kinds of things. Sounds pretty wild. My dear friend Ralph Ring, a dear soul dad and mentor on the path, who was working with Otis T. Carr in the late 50s and early 60s, they were using Nikola Tesla's work to create a teleportation device. They called it the OTCX-1, and Ralph talks about how when they would get the OTCX-1 activated, that it was metallic in form, but once it started to spin at a high rate, you could actually put your hand in and out of it. It was like jelly. And it's the same thing that happens when tornadoes occur, and maybe some of the viewers have seen how they'll show how like a record gets lodged inside of a log. It doesn't get lodged in because it sliced its way in. It gets lodged inside of a log because the tornado gets the particles spinning so quickly that all the gravitational pull that makes the log solid opens up, and those particles become looser. And same with the record and the log can now integrate in a looser gravitational field, And then when the gravitational field slows down, when the tornado passes, then things solidify into form again. So, you know, these are all scientific things, but the 60th gene is about the transcendence of time and the transcendence of gravity, these laws that keep us bound to the two-strand DNA. And isn't it time, aren't we all ready to be like Neo in the Matrix when he gets taken into the gym scene where he gets to remember how actually supernatural his physical vessel is. And once again, the more of us who are willing to take time away from distraction, which is the current external reality that's dissolving away, and place more of our focus and attention and effort to the internal world that's informing us of the transformation that's occurring, the more that we can be sharing these messages and experiences together. And I really invite people to go out there and make live streams, share the experiences that you might be having. I had another really cool one the other night, and I've been a really, really open vessel my whole life. My first eye was always wide open from the time I was a child. And so from the time I was a little kid, when beings would come to me and they would want to channel through me, I would always say, no, sorry, it's between me and God this time. I'm not a messenger of anything other than source code. And so the other night, as I was falling asleep, I had fallen asleep, and I felt the presence of a being by my bed, and it was the presence of a little girl. And it was very, very strong and very palpable. And she told me to get up. She told me I had some work to do, and I had some emails to send in the middle of the night. And so I did it. And so I'm really welcoming these experiences with the realms that have been supporting us for so long. I am celebrating how close we are to reforming our physical relationship with the elven kingdoms and the elementals and the star nations, the dolphins, the cetaceans. The star maps within us are very, very closely connected to the language of the whales and the dolphins. If you're interested to learn more about star knowledge, please go to starknowledge.net and support the great works of Chief Golden Light Eagle and our dear brother Chief Blue Star, who dropped his robes last year at the end of July and passed through the gates. Grandma Silver Star of the Star Knowledge family. You can check out their Star Knowledge bundles and so on. Let me see if there's other things I wanted to mention here. I made notes. Yeah, just as we begin to recognize that the star maps, or the map for the forest, that we're not lost in the forest, that the map for the forest and the little "you are here" sign actually exists somewhere inside of us. The "you are here" on the map occurs when we find the moment of stillness, and the rest of our internal environment is the actual map itself. Just be aware that when we're making choices, we are actually navigating these star maps within us. And as we navigate the stars within us, those choices that we make moment to moment of the internal navigation of our personalities and our reactions and all these things influence the external projection that is about to come based on those internal choices moment to moment. And I guess I'm just sharing dynamics or mechanics that may help people put pieces together for themselves. Take what resonates, throw the rest away. These are all just sharings of some mechanical aspects of creation right now, of navigating the field of the quantum. And I think that feels kind of good for now. The beach beckons, and the full moon comes tomorrow. It's the full moon that comes after what the guidance said was the activation of the Axis Mundi on Earth, the end of the procession of the equinoxes. You can go back and find that live stream that beautiful Todd Medina and Morgan and I did, and dear friends in Vancouver Island, we did on the new moon. It's on my Facebook page. It was a really powerful, profound day. And tomorrow is the full moon, so we plant on the new, we reap on the full. There is no such thing as linear time. These are just symbolic gateways to be working with. Everything is a symbol in this reality, And so I speak on many different levels that sometimes sound like we're speaking in linear time. But I don't give power to the stars or the planets and the planetary influences, and at the same time I will talk about their influential powers and so on. So maybe just to end, I always say I'm a blueprint buster. I'm going to share with you your blueprint, but you're not your blueprint. It's a symbolic reality. The shaman takes the deep dive into the realm of symbols and has the capacity to come back up to the surface without getting lost in those dark underworlds of the symbolic realms, so that the shaman can translate those realms in ways that maybe help others put pieces together so that they can also find their way out of the deep, watery realms of the symbolic underworld to surface into our wholeness. This great time of celebration, the whales and dolphin nations, cetaceans are celebrating as we begin to move into the activation of these beautiful, amazing first eyes within us, and that are moving to a level beyond the speed of light, where a very small spectrum of our eyes have a very small capacity in viewing what is truly available in the realms of light. Our eyes are limited to a very limited spectrum of light, but as we go beyond the speed of light, we turn on these little antennas called the pineal glands. No accident, those little cartoon Martians always had that little antenna sticking out of their head. It was really their pineal had been activated. Once the pineal is activated, it actually goes beyond the speed of light and into the quantum field, where there is information, teeming information, and then we can begin to access these other realms of information. The pineal brings it back in, transduces it into images, messages, and so on. And as we become more masterful with these new bodies that our bodies are transforming into, we will begin to collectively project a new earth onto this quantum field, which, if we could really see what was all around us, it's really a sea and a field of blackness that we're all collectively projecting onto. And we all lived in agreement of what we were projecting, and we've made a really big choice collectively to begin projecting a new field onto new images onto this quantum field of blackness that surrounds us. And it's a field of play and joy and love and celebration. The Hopi prophecy said this could be a time of celebration. It said, push off from the edge of the river. There are those who may be afraid. They may hold on to the edge tightly, which just means holding on to our personality, holding on to what we know, holding on to what feels safe and good. But let go of the river, let go of the edge of the river. The prophecy says, push off, keep our heads above water, push ourselves into the middle of the river. Look around, see who is there with us, and celebrate, for this could be a time of celebration. And the river is flowing fast now, and it knows its destiny. And the prophecy also said to ask ourselves the question, do we know where our water comes from? Do we know the source of our food? And are we in right relation? Look at our relation and our relationships as reflections of our own internal world, and where we may need to do some mighty navigating of ourselves in order to see the proper reflection of ourselves manifesting in front of us. The form, not trying to change that external reflection that shows up around us, but understand that if there's something occurring outside of us, it means go within, navigate the internal star maps, that internal forest within, and the external will surely change around us. And yay to unicorns and dolphins, and sitting together collectively and closing our eyes and saying, should we go to the Pleiades for dinner, darlings? What do you think? Let's all close our eyes and raise our vibration to that intrinsic field that will take us into the constellations of wherever we want to go or whatever we want to do, and open our eyes and materialize in the Pleiades for some blue spirulina and an amazing, enjoyable dinner in the stars. This is truly the thing that our minds can't maybe wrap itself around. what is truly possible as interdimensional beings, that we are birthright home to the tree of life, and the play that is truly available for us now as we have and are stabilizing this frequency of the love vibration, universal love consciousness, where all are welcome and all dualistic paths have been resolved within us. And it opens the field to just massive potential. I'm super excited. The reflections that I'm seeing of myself surrounding me are lighting me up, shining countenance, radiance, beings everywhere I look. And I'm saying to myself, wow, I'm doing really good of navigating my internal star maps right now, because the beings showing up in my life are so strikingly beautiful, like everyone that's tuning into this. And so let's keep tuning in with each other. And I feel guided that there's going to be some times to activate some or invite some global meditations coming to a theater within us, near us. Oh, 111 people watching right now. Divine number, 111 hertz, which is brain balanced, left and right hemispheres of the brain in perfect synchronicity or perfect alignment. And that allows us a whole brain state like dolphins and whales, and it allows us to be super cool, supernatural beings living a life of benevolence and the reverence for the well-being of all of life, and returning ourselves to the purity of the innocent children that we were meant to be in this divine garden of creation, playing and exploring together with curiosity and interfacing with all these beautiful life forms in this incredible garden, the living library, the library of light that resides within us. And it truly is time to play and celebrate. So that feels pretty good for now. I intend that it was really amazingly epic sharing that was helpful. If it was helpful for you, please share these live streams, these love streams, I like to call them. Please share them in your networks. Since I started sharing, I'm just humbled that tens of thousands of people have been sharing and watching the videos. And I'm just humbly sharing what I can. I invite everyone else to humbly share what they can and what's coming through them, because there's a piece of the puzzle and a message coming through every single one of us now. And if we all just share the pieces coming through us, you know, it's divine. It's like, what, hey, how did you just manifest a golden apple in the palm of your hand? And you know, so share the gifts that are coming through us, so we can all play with the gifts and recognize our oneness and our unity. And yeah, and I'm getting thousands of messages from people every day. In fact, I've been in stores, people have been coming up to me saying, oh my God, are you Unity Grace? You're famous, and your love streams are incredible. And I talk about the miracles, and everyone seems to be using the term miracle, so that's caught on, which is really great, because it's coded to the 3015, which is a shortcut out of the two-strand DNA and duality. So yeah, the miracle terminology is catching on, using the word miracle to replace any words associated with time. Yeah, so I've been having all these phenomenal experiences. Someone came up to me the other day and he said he watches all the love streams that I do, and every time I come on, he says to his wife, what does he call me? The commander of the stars, or some funny name. He says the commander is doing a love stream right now, and they both come sit down and watch it. So I super duper love our beautiful human pod. The messages and the notes, I've tried my very best to keep up replying. I'm replying to all of them from my intention of love within my heart, and I haven't had the physical capacity to actually respond to everyone, but please know that this is my love response to everyone that's been communing with me through these love streams, that's been sharing them. And let's keep going, fam, and interweaving and networking all of our very important messages and massages. I love massages because massages increase the serotonin in your body. Beautiful Aaron Gauchi pointed that out with a list of things that he wrote that I wish he would post it right here. A list of things that naturally increase the serotonin in your body. because it's really good to know those things. So I'm going to finish this love stream by taking you on a little walk towards this amazing lagoon, and let's just see if the little turtle mamas and their babies come, because it just brings so much joy to my heart when I see them, and the amazing fish. And so I'll just do a couple of minutes. Hopefully I'm pointing the camera at the right place, and you can see the magnificent water lily, and yeah, just share in, let's see, the beauty here. So, okay, let's see if the turtles come. I'll just give them some presents, call them in. Let's see if they respond to the language of cats. Kitty, kitty. Nope. Oh, there's the fish. The turtles must be on their way. Well, if you're patient, and patience, oh, you can listen to the birds. If you're patient, patience is connected to the miracles, believe it or not. Patience, when we master patience, everything comes to us. So I'm just going to hold the camera here until I come. And when they do, we can all celebrate together, because the I Ching turns out, oh, there's a little fish. Can you see him? He's so cute, a little koi. He loves to come by. I hope you can see him. He loves to come by and visit with all his little friends. The water is a bit dark right now. Friendly little koi. Yes, the I Ching, one of the interpretations of our human qualities, came from the back of a turtle. Come visit us, turtle. Come, come. We love you. Let's all send our love vibes to the turtles right now. Oh, I saw the water move. Send our love vibes. I'll let you look at them. Oh, oh my God. Look, here he comes right now. Can you see him? Please let me have this pointed in the right way. Did you get to see the turtle? It's a big granddaddy that came by. I'm just going to look. Did you guys get to see him? Let's see. Someone says Unity. Yes. Yay, you got to see him. Yay. Let's see if the mama and the baby come. They're so beautiful. Back to the water. Honoring nature is our great... Oh, here comes one. Here comes a Honu. Sticking his little head out. Come, little Honu, we love you. Thank you for teaching us who we are. Thank you for your patience with humanity to catch on. We were a little bit slow back there in his story, history. But now we're in our narrative. Love. There he is. He's speaking. I hope I've got him on. Sailing away. It's really cool because some of the turtles here are really covered in moss on their back. He's peeking. All right, we had 2 turtles visit. Let me see. Did you get to see him? Can someone give me a thumbs? You got to see him? Yes? Hey, turtle. Oh, you did get to see him. Yes, people are giving me hugs. Okay. It's worth it for the patience piece. I'm going to sit here. It's a live stream. You don't have to love stream, but I would really love for the mama and the baby to come. There's just so beautiful. So in the meantime, we'll look at the water lily. Oh, mama just stuck her head up over there from the water lilies. I don't think you could see it on the camera, but they're pondering. Let's send them some love. Oh. I see activity over there. We love you. Honu, Honu. I never really think of these little turtles as Honu. I always think of the big Hawaiian ones as the Honus. Oh, they're being coy. They're over there. They're a little bit far for the camera. Well, I'll do another love stream. I think maybe they're resting. They seem more active during the day. All right. There we go. All right, fam. We rock because we love life. And we have reverence for the benevolence and well-being of all of life. And we worked really hard in the timelines to get here now. So as the prophecy says, thank you, Birdie, keep our head above water. Look who is there around us. See who is there around us. And celebrate. From the beautiful land of the amazing Maya. Thank heavens for the Maya, those Stargate portal hoppers who kept this amazing wisdom sacred so we could remember how to Stargate portal hop too. Alright, you might want to check out Jose Munez Federico, who's the carrier of the calendar of the Sixth Sun. He's on Facebook, and attend any of his events. And also Mazotzin, who's the carrier of the Aztec calendar, who you can also find on Facebook. Amazing epic beings to help connect us back into nature through the calendars and our connection with the elementals, which is the most important connection we could ever make, because guess what? It turns out we are made of the elements. And if we don't have a relationship with water, fire, air, earth, and ether, then how the heck are we going to navigate our way through our personal internal alchemy of our light ships that are currently under tremendous internal transformation? That's why we want to restore our relationship with the elements, because when we have that relationship restored, then we can understand what is happening to us when the heat begins happening in the body that begins that is causing the internal metamorphosis. We can work with the heat of the fire and the moisture of the water. That is a big part of the alchemy. And if you're experiencing head spins and huge body heat and so on, guess what? You're a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. So celebrate. Don't run to your doctor for a pharmaceutical or prescription. Don't get fear-based. Lay down on the bed still. Stop the mind. Set down the phone. Set down the computer. Get super still and ask the heavens for help, and they will guide you through the internal alchemy. Because we are the alchemists. Oh, God. Listen to the birdie is celebrating. Okay. I love you all. Aloha. Love, 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 and blessings. This has been a super fun love stream to share, especially this part. All right. Aloha.